Alexa, open the pod bay doors, please.
I'm sorry, I'm afraid I can't do that. Orion doesn't have any pod bay doors, and Artemis 1 hasn't launched yet.
Fine, go ahead and launch SLS and fly to the moon.
Playing Fly Me to the Moon by Frank Sinatra.
No, that'll get a copyright strike.
Alright, hey everybody, welcome to the first human spaceflight news rundown. These are intended to give you weekly updates about what's going on around the world of human spaceflight, ranging from the Artemis program, the International Space Station, as well as science being conducted for the betterment of humanity. If you're new, my name is Derek, and my channel, Orbital Velocity, is all about telling the story of human spaceflight and our journey toward becoming a multiplanetary species. Before we begin, I want to welcome all of my new subscribers and thank those for leaving comments and engaging in live streams. I sincerely appreciate it. This week I'll be talking about the Alexa technology demonstration that's going to be flying aboard the Artemis 1 mission later this year, as well as give you an update on some of the other Artemis program missions. Additionally, the International Space Station saw a Russian spacewalk performed, and a company has announced its intention to attach a film studio to the orbiting outpost. Those and more, right after the title roll. Let's start in low Earth orbit at the International Space Station. Last week, Russian cosmonauts performed the first spacewalk of 2022. Expedition 66 Commander Anton Shkaplerov and flight engineer Pyotr Dubrov exited the Poisk module January 19, 2022 to ready the new Prichal module for future Russian visiting vehicles. The 7-hour, 11-minute outing saw the cosmonaut duo install handrails, rendezvous antennas, a TV camera, as well as docking targets. This was the 246th spacewalk in ISS history, the third in Shkaplerov's career, and the fourth for Dubrov. Cosmonauts are expected to perform additional spacewalks throughout the first half of the year to outfit a European robotic arm on the recently arrived Nauka module, as well as activate that module's science airlock. Several days later, SpaceX's CRS-24 Cargo Dragon undocked from the space station after more than a month attached to the Harmony module. The spacecraft's departure was delayed multiple times due to adverse weather conditions in the capsule's splashdown zone off the coast of Florida. Following its January 23rd undocking, the vehicle coasted around Earth for about a day and a half before performing a deorbit burn to splash down off the coast of Panama City, Florida, around 21:05 UTC, January 24th. According to NASA, returning to Earth were some 2,200 kilograms of equipment and science, including samples from several experiments, to allow scientists to make additional observations and analysis at the Kennedy Space Center. These include samples from the cytoskeleton investigation, which aims to understand how microgravity affects mammalian cells. NASA said this research could help support the development of additional countermeasures for crew members to maintain optimal health on future missions. Additionally, results from the In-Space 4 study are being returned. That experiment saw the assembly of colloids, or tiny particles suspended in liquid, using magnetic fields. The agency said results could help scientists understand how to harness nanoparticles in order to fabricate and manufacture new advanced materials for space applications such as thermal micrometeoroid shielding, or Earth-based applications such as sound dampening devices or medical diagnostics. Meanwhile, United Kingdom-based Space Entertainment Enterprise, SEE or C, has contracted Axiom Space to build an inflatable multi-purpose entertainment and content studio, which would be attached to the planned commercial segment of the International Space Station. Houston-based Axiom Space is already under contract by NASA to build one or more commercial modules to be added to the front of the ISS, which could eventually be detached to form an independent free-flying outpost at the end of the International Space Station's useful life. The film studio module, called C1, would be launched sometime after the first Axiom module arrives at the ISS, which is currently expected no earlier than 2024. According to C, the spherical studio module is planned to be about 6 meters in diameter once fully expanded in space. Its interior is expected to provide an unobstructed, pressurized volume that can be adapted for a range of media activities, including film production, music, sports, and live streaming events. According to CNBC, the C co-founders, Dmitry and Elena Levznesky, are also working with Tom Cruise and SpaceX to produce the first Hollywood movie to be filmed in space. Moving on to the Artemis program, it was recently announced that Lockheed Martin has partnered with Amazon and Cisco to put an Alexa digital assistant on the Orion spacecraft that will fly to the moon later this year on Artemis 1. The technology demonstration is called Callisto and would see how commercial technology could assist future astronauts during deep space missions by allowing them to access information such as spacecraft orientation, water levels, and other spacecraft system status via voice commands. According to NASA, the Alexa flying aboard is specifically designed to be able to work without Earth-based cloud networks and other software that requires the internet. Instead, a local database and the Deep Space Network are expected to be used. The demo would require the use of an onboard tablet to conference with WebEx, since Artemis 1 won't have any astronauts aboard. NASA said this would also demonstrate how video collaboration with compression technology could be used over the Deep Space Network. Inside the Orion spacecraft, cameras are expected to record the interaction between the tablet conference and the Alexa device. Participants will ask a question or deliver a task command via a console on Earth. Video of the participant will be transmitted to the tablet from which the audio will be played for Alexa to hear and respond. NASA said the technology would enable astronauts to operate more independently of Earth. For example, the agency said such a device could talk astronauts through a particular procedure, potentially even lighting up areas of focus inside the spacecraft. This could come in handy on missions to Mars, where round-trip communication delays due to the speed of light could range from a few minutes to nearly an hour. Finally, we move from Artemis 1 to Artemis 4. In a recent NASA Advisory Council Human Exploration and Operations Committee meeting, it was learned that after the Artemis 3 human moon landing no earlier than 2025, the follow-up Artemis 4 flight may not actually include a landing. According to slides from that meeting, Artemis 4 would instead focus on adding an International Habitation Module to the Lunar Gateway. The Lunar Gateway's first two modules, the Power and Propulsion Element and the Habitation and Logistics Outpost, are expected to launch together atop a Falcon Heavy no earlier than late 2024. It would then spend about a year traveling to a near rectilinear halo orbit around the Moon. As such, it would not be ready in time for the Artemis 3 mission, which isn't expected to utilize the Deep Space Outpost anyway. Artemis 4 would be the first human mission to the Lunar Gateway. It's unclear how long the astronauts will remain aboard it, but Orion has a design life of about 21 days not docked to a space station. Artemis 5 would occur next, and would see astronauts visit the Gateway where a moonlander would be waiting for them to make a descent to the surface. Part of this is because of the larger scope of the Artemis 5 mission compared to the relatively simple Artemis 3 landing. For example, a lot more surface hardware is expected to be pre-positioned in advance, and would probably see activity similar to that of the later Apollo missions. Additionally, while Artemis 3 is slated to use SpaceX as a lunar starship, subsequent landings are expected to occur under a separate recurring contract called Lunar Exploration Transportation Services, or LETS. Currently, 5 companies are contracted for early development funding: Blue Origin, Dynetics, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, and of course SpaceX. The agency hopes to select one or more companies for regular landing services, similar to the Commercial Crew Program for the International Space Station. Well, that's it for this first human spaceflight news rundown. Not sure what I'm going to call this series in the long run, but if you have an idea, leave it in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss another video. And while you're at it, be sure to launch that like button into orbit. The more engagement and shares, the more the algorithm is expected to recommend these videos to others on the platform. It also lets me know what topics you're interested in regarding human space exploration. Speaking of which, if you're interested in learning more about NASA's plans to replace the International Space Station with commercial space stations, click right here. And if you'd like to get an update on NASA's Artemis Moon program, check out this video. Finally, if you'd like to take a couple extra steps to help support Orbital Velocity, there's a link to my Patreon page in the description below. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, Ad Astra.